Hiya and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making naan, as in naan bread, and I'm not going to knead this by hand because it takes 10 minutes to do. I'm going to be using my trusty food mixer or blender, whatever you want to call it. So first of all, you will need to prove your yeast. So even the quick acting ones. In this jug I have 150 ml of water, which is nice warm tepid hand hot water. So to that I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of fast acting yeast and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Gonna give that a little mix. Make sure that the sugar at least is well combined. You might not be able to mix all of the yeast. What we now need to do is to leave it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now you need to leave this in a kind of like a warmish place, so don't stick it near or in the fridge. And what we want to see is some nice foam come to the top. So I'm looking for a foam literally to reach the top of this jug. So I'm going to cover it now and leave it to do its magic. It's got all that lovely foam. Ooh, it went all the way to the top of the saucer. So that is now ready, so we can make our bread or a naan. Here I have 300 grams of strong bread flour, which I'm going to add to the bowl. Now in with our yeast. Ooh, just give that a little stir first. Make a well in the middle. Whoops, well in the middle. And pour that in. To this I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt and also 5 tablespoons of natural yogurt. Now I would suggest stirring the yogurt first because sometimes it has some water on top of it and it's not mixed, so mix it first. So that's 5 tablespoons of natural yogurt. I'm going to turn this first on to number 1. This is from 1 to 10. Turn it on to number 1 because you don't want the flour flying everywhere. So here goes. Gather all the remaining flour from around the bowl and just bring it into the middle. Give that another mix on number 1. And repeat. Oops, got it all over my hands. Right, now I'm going to whack it up to about number 4, just so that it gets all those bits in. See, a bit watery dough at the moment, but what we're now going to do is leave it on number 3-ish, 2, 3, and I'm going to leave that to keep the dough in for about 10 minutes. During that time, I've warmed up 2 teaspoons of butter, and I'm now going to add this to the dough, and I'm literally just going to leave that for now a minute to mix in. By the way, make sure the butter, when you do heat it up, is nice and cool. So there's our dough. All we now need to do is just literally bring those bits from the side into the middle. Gather it in and cover it with a clean tea towel and with a plate, just to make sure it's nice and hot. And I'm going to stick that near the cooker because it's nice and warm there, and I'm going to leave that now for an hour to prove, and hopefully it will double in size. Now our dough did double in size. However, I had to see something else. So the grand reveal is it has doubled in size, but it's gone a bit slightly deflated. Never mind. And it's been on there for about an hour and a half, would you believe it? I can see our dough is a bit wobbly and watery, so what I'm going to do, just going to add a little bit of flour to that and just give that a little knead by hand. Right, that took a bit of work actually, and it took about 2 lots of these flour to get it back to how it should be, which is a nice soft dough like this. So flour on the board, and yeah, let's see how we're going to do this. I'm going to divide this into 8. All you need to do is, it's a very sticky dough, so just give it a bit of the flour. Try to form a ball first. And then dust it again with flour. Now, this one I'm going to roll out. So press down on the dough. Oops, might need a bit more flour. Yep. And then roll. Now you want this dough to be kind of thin-ish because it is going to rise when we put it in the pan. Right, this is looking more like a pita bread than naan. So I'm just going to try to make it into a pita bread shape. Naan bread shape. Oh dear. Right. How about that? Yeah. So now we're going to take this to the pan. I've had this pan on heating up while I was rolling out the dough. So I'm now going to put the fire up to a medium. And I'm not just going to add 1, I'm going to add 2 naan breads. So there's 1. And ooh, here's the other. And as I said, it needs to be thin. And I'm just going to cook those dry on the pan. And just keep flipping them over until they're both cooked. Those are now ready to come out. So I'm just going to put them on a wire rack. Ooh, gingerly on a wire rack. I have got 2 more I'm just now going to add to the pan. And I'm going to keep doing that until all 8 of my naan breads are cooked. Ooh, this one looks a bit big. Oops, yeah, that'll do. And here they are, my naan breads. Ooh, and I've even done them smaller. So technically, that dough could have done about 16 of these sizes. Look, the size of my face. Anywho, they're not quite ready yet because I'm just warming up some butter because I'm going to baste the ones that I'm going to eat now with some garlic butter. In my trusty little pan, I've just melted some butter until it becomes like a nicely toasty colour, like that. So, in with our garlic, and I've got here 1 clove of garlic, just grated. Oops. And I'm going to give that a warm through. I can't find my spatula. I don't know what I've done with it. So I'm using a knife. Yeah, you just need to warm the garlic through, but not to burn. Right, our garlic butter has now kind of like cooled down because we don't want to put it on there too hot. I've got here a pastry brush, so I'm going to take a nice big naan and I'm just literally going to dip our brush in and just give that a little base on the top. And I've got here some fresh chopped coriander. which I'm just going to just sprinkle just a little bit on top of that. And there we have it, my naan bread, now with garlic and coriander. Yum! Look at that. Ooh, let's see. Oh, this light is not good, is it? Oh, look at that. Yum! That's how it's supposed to be. Mmm. 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 That is good. And from something that near enough turned out to be a disaster. So, you need to prove your naan bread only for an hour, yeah? Or tops an hour and 15 minutes, yeah? Because you want to make sure that your dough rises and forms a nice dome. What happened was that my one had a nice dome, and then I quickly had to do something else on another dish. And yeah, by the time I went to pull the grand reveal, it went, So if that happens and you do overprove it, don't cry, yeah? Just get some more flour and work it into a dough as I've just shown you. You can refrigerate these or freeze them. If you refrigerate them, they're good for about 3 days. And when you come to heating them, all you need to do is get a little pastry brush like this, dip it in a bit of water, shake it out, brush the top, put them in foil in the oven for about 10 minutes and they'll be good to go. Or you can actually just don't put the water on top of them and just stick them in the microwave for about 30 seconds and they'll be ready to eat. If you freeze them, however, make sure that they're defrosted and brought to room temperature, and then just reheat them like I've just said about the refrigerated ones. Ooh. So now I can finally say, until the next time, bye.